Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. Today we're going to look at the high fantasy adventure After the Inferno, available for free for PC on Steam and for PC, Mac, Linux, and Android on their Patreon. I get a lot of questions about the nature of games with adult content. Are they just there for titillation, and the story is secondary? Is this industry just another form of pornography that uses the video game format? And I'm sure that's true for a lot of games. But as our industry continues to expand, we are seeing more and more actual games with adult content, as opposed to adult content games. Real plots and real stories, and After the Inferno is absolutely a game with a compelling story with multiple interwoven plot lines. At first, I thought this was just going to be another fantasy harem visual novel. I mean, that's probably one of the most common flavor combinations after the college harem. Instead, the main character is literally dropped into the middle of a war, traumatized, and given PTSD. I mean, our main character is the head of a mercenary company, so violent trauma shouldn't be that much of a surprise. But it definitely establishes the tone and the pacing of this game from the very beginning. A beginning you're actually able to skip, along with all the romantic interludes and side quests. However, that can impact the ending that you ultimately arrive at. Just as a warning, there are bad endings and good-er endings. But this is war, and war never gives us a happy ending. Graphically, this game really reminds me of the Barbie movies from the 2000s, but the animations are actually really decent with sounds. And it's not just sexual interactions. It is obvious that a lot of effort was put into animating many scenes throughout the game, which only helps to increase the level of immersion. This is by no means a visual masterpiece, but it is consistent and fun. Flavor-wise, this is a mostly heterosexual male harem adventure. There is also group, voyeurism, furry, monsters, monster girls, magic, power exchange, and some optional and incidental futanari content. Sex and sexuality is everywhere in this game. At first, I found it jarring and a little out of place, but then I started to think about how much our norms regarding sex and sexuality are adaptations impacted by the physical power differences between men and women. How different would those norms be in a world with magic and magical creatures? Would the power gap between men and women be narrower, or would there just be different gaps? How does magic impact the spread of disease and unwanted pregnancies? Would all of our real-life sexual gatekeeping adaptations be necessary in this kind of world? So maybe the ubiquitousness of sexual encounters in this game makes perfect sense. I mean, you can literally have sex with a ghost in this game, so I think all of our established norms and mores have gone out the window at this point. Hold on, does sex with a ghost count as desecration of the dead, or potentially just another form of ancestor worship? And here I thought the biggest issue with the undead is how they violate the law of conservation of energy. While there are some gameplay flaws that you will come across, and some of the story unfolds smoother depending on which characters are still alive, spoilers, this is still an excellent game with solid pacing, a gripping story, and some fantastic endings. I highly recommend After the Inferno to anyone who enjoys the high fantasy theme. If you also enjoy the harem flavor and don't mind the visual novel format, then this is a must-play experience. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy After the Inferno? How do you think that magic would impact sex and sexual gatekeeping in a society? And which is the best Barbie movie? And why is it the 12 Dancing Princesses? Until next time, no shaming, just gaming. Thanks to all this month's support on Patreon. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you all.